Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's make a Sunday morning video before I head back to England. Been in Scotland for the last few days, very nice. And obviously, trying to not trade too much during this period because I'm meant to be on holiday. Don't want to be staring at charts and whatever. But it's been pretty good, and now I'm waking up now with basically the sell orders of this weekend basically filling, which is even better. A lot of it is pretty obvious. I'm just using Atom as an example here. Lots of altcoins looking like this. There's lots that are better than this, but lots looking like this. This is Atom, just as an example. We looked at loads of these on the Patreon last night. Basically, just coming up to a 200 simple and exponential being a death cross retest. This is your first area of major rejection and might even mark the temporary top on a lot of these altcoins at the moment. Obviously, resistances do break, and that's something we've got to obviously hope and pray for. Obviously, trading and investing are completely different things. I've been buying Atom at these lower zones, like we were buying Chainlink at its lower zones. Many things to be bought at the lower zones over the last couple of months. That's different. That's buy, hold, stake, and enjoy the volatility, and just look for 2025 as the exit point. But in the short term, like I say, a lot of altcoins looking like this. This isn't a big problem. Like I say, I'm hoping for continuation at some point over the next few weeks anyway. But in the short term, in the interim, I'm thinking, exit points for me around here, and then we'll see how next week goes. There's a couple of reasons why I'm a little hesitant to call for further upside immediately, although it absolutely can happen. The first, obviously, the main thing here, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin obviously looks good on, depending on how you choose to interpret it. It does look good. We've got an uptrend. We're above all major moving averages. We got a bounce over here a couple of days back on the 10 exponential, which is really good for continuation. And the next major top target is going to be around 37,000. 600 or 700, thereabouts, roughly, give or take. Now, we are curling over on the MACD, and we do have bearish divergence on the daily RSI here. So with that, the momentum is slowing. The volume is not particularly good, but it doesn't mean that we can't make another run up to the top of this area. This is also a Bollinger Band top, so yeah, of course we can surf the outer rim and blow outside of a Bollinger Band, but the Bollinger Band is at the major resistance here. So let's just recognize it for what it is. It's an uptrend. Uptrends need to pull back to continue to make higher highs and higher lows. Now, we have not really made a higher low since this big, large move up here. The higher low could, well, I suppose you could argue that would be it. Personally, that wouldn't really look too pretty on the chart. A bigger pullback is definitely required at some point down the line. If we come down to a 21 or a 20 simple moving average, that now comes down to 33. So I've highlighted that area earlier on in the week for members of the Telegram, saying, look, if we make another run or not, 32 to 33 is where I'll be looking for a decent reaction. At the time of saying that, our Bollinger Band Center, our 21 and our 20 moving average is sitting at that 32,000. Obviously, it's matured a little more and it's gone up to 33. So this is a resistance. This is a support. Obviously, this is a support, and all of these areas down here are supports. The 200 exponential moving average and the 200 simple moving average is sitting at 28,500, basically, more or less, give or take, thereabouts. So much support below us, and that all of that would be consistent with a new higher low. Now, just to hit it home once again, we got a trend signal on the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly here, which is like really bullish. So we should enjoy that, but recognize that at the moment we've got a weekly candle body that was born outside of a Bollinger Band, which is still pushing the outer rim of the Bollinger Band. And normally, well, it's not normally. It's absolutely fact that 85% of price action takes place within the Bollinger Band itself. So that means that we generally, anytime we have a candle body like this, we are on borrowed time. It wants to be reabsorbed by the Bollinger Band itself. And the Bollinger Band will expand on tonight's closure, and we'll see where the candle body is at that point. It just looks like it wants to come back down. And this it's not a pump signal, it's a trend signal. This trend signal will still be in play provided the blue is above the red and the Chiku span lives above price action, which means that so long as we don't have candle body closures below Look at this, 28,500, and I'm talking weekly candle closures below that level. So we can see dailies and 4 hourlies live down there for a couple of days. It's fine as long as we don't close down there this week or next week. And look, over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, we're safe above 28,000. Sorry, 28,500. It's only the following weeks where we have to really be above that. We're talking 30,000, basically 30,000. So we're relatively safe for continuation of this uptrend, provided we're closing weekly candle bodies above 28,500. So that's good. The other thing I would be not massively concerned over, but worth talking about, is the Dixie. So the Dixie closed pretty red, to be fair, on the daily here. You can see that. This is still a bullish chart, by the way, so we're looking for a bounce around about 104.1 on the Dixie. If that bounce does bounce, I don't think we'll be looking for a new higher high on this trend. I think we actually start to consolidate, but that doesn't mean we can't have a serious bounce when we do come down to it. So roughly back up to the area that was lost, a bounce of around 1.5% on the Dixie. Take it to a weekly. The weekly still has a support being the 20 weekly, which is 104.6. Bounce from there as well. But we can all come all the way down to 100 flat, basically, and bounce from there. So this is still a trader's paradise. Lots of volatility, especially on Forex, which crosses over into all markets. And at the moment, this weekly candle body close that took place on Friday has allowed for this weekend on crypto to be, to be pretty decent. Let's face it, it's been pretty decent. It's not been the best, but we should have all made a little bit of money. But we should also, me personally, you guys do what you want, but me personally, I'm looking for a bounce on this Dixie next week, which might cause a bit of red across the board for everything else. And then we can trade, appropriately. If we continue down on the Dixie and continue up with everything else, just using Atom as an example, and we build bases above 200 simple exponentials and continue with an uptrend, that's fine. We can take part in those uptrends. At the moment, mostly looking at resistance on some of these alts. Well, there's plenty of alts that are above resistance, so that's no altcoin is created equal. I'm just trying to put it across to you that Dixie will be looking for a bounce next week, and Bitcoin is working on a third drive of bearish divergence. So this doesn't mean dump, catastrophe, end of bull market, all the way down to zero. It just means let's not get greedy, like I was saying yesterday. Let's not get greedy. Let's enjoy what we've got. Let's try and be mindful about new entry points at this exact level, and protect some of those gains that we've made, because that is the most important thing. Sometimes, and I feel victim of this, I'm sure everybody does, this is the psychological aspect of trading. Sometimes you get overconfident. Think about what's happened these last 4 weeks. Most altcoins have made money. In many ways, you could have traded blindly. You could have allowed a hamster to walk over your keyboard and operate, trades at random and made some money. But just winding the clock back now, we did BSV, INJ, recently he's done Ocean, Chainlink, really good, XRP, Epic, RNDR, really good, and we were able, there's a component of luck to it, because we were able to jump from one to the next and to the next and to the next, and actually really make the most of those gains. But that's been going on for 3-4 weeks now. If we go back, let's just say 8 weeks, all of that would have felt like a pure, like absolutely implausible. That those sort of gains, the gains that we've seen and felt over the last 4 weeks, that would have been like a pipe dream. People wouldn't have believed it. We can easily go back to that environment again, and we probably will. This isn't really feeling like the time for parabolic altcoin moves, although you can see some of those here and there. I just realised that e-gold has gone up 50% overnight. So yeah, of course things can go, but let's not fall into a false sense of security here. Let's recognize it for what it is. It's been a very generous 4 weeks for pretty much every altcoin out there. And just in normal altcoin fashion, thou giveth, thou will taketh away. Not the case for everything, but if we're looking at Bitcoin pulling back potentially to to the 28,500 over a couple of weeks or so, which I'm not saying that's where it's going to go to, but if it did do that, you can only imagine that altcoins will emphasize that move, and that in itself is about a 17% pullback. If we see 17% pullback on Bitcoin, we should think about maybe 20, 30, maybe even 50% pullback on some of these altcoins, especially if they've doubled in value, which some of these really have over a very short period of time. So let's just be realistic about where we are and what we're looking at and what we should expect. I want upside just as much as you, but as we push resistance and as we see bearish divergence and as we see Dixie pulling back for an area of a bounce from either a weekly or a daily, let's just be realistic and let's not go mad. All right, let's not be too overconfident. We can still make money, but we just want to protect our gains as well. Over trading, overconfidence is something that we can all fall victim to, especially if we seem to have just been making money so easily over the last 4 weeks. Let's not get too complacent. Right, I am going to leave it there. I've got to pack up, get driving. Videos will the production value of my videos will increase by about 0.1% when I get home on my actual normal computer. If there's any altcoins that you're particularly interested in and you think has a good setup, please let me know in the comments, and if there's something to talk about, I'll talk about it. Otherwise, join the Patreon. There's links in the description below for that, and we look at whatever it is you want me to look at twice a week on the streams. Anyway, have a nice day, be careful, and take it easy.